You spend far too much time here, Dorian.
This is where all my favorite people are. Besides, I have news, and every messenger bird I've met is dreadful at nuance.
Magister Parvus, it's good to see you again.
At least someone appreciates my presence.
You're our eyes in the Magisterium. If someone spots you here...
Yes, I know. Can't be spotted with the shadow dragons. You worry too much, May.
Well, what do you have for us?
The cult lost people in Alathan, and leadership has fallen to Knight Commander Lenos. He aims to bring the city to its knees.
But Minrathous is already falling apart.
I know. While the Varantis' attack on the city could have been much worse, the people's fear in the aftermath is palpable.
And the rumors about the Archon are true. He's dead. Assassinated during the Dragon's rampage. The palace has tried to keep the news from spreading until a new Archon steps up.
And no one has?
No one dares. Not with the Venatori circling like vultures. The risen gods are preparing for something big. And for that, they need fear. Chaos.
More fear. More chaos. Haven't the Venatori done enough?
Restraint is not exactly their strong point, Rook. Lenos is the key to all of it. First, we stop what he's planning for Minrathous.
And then we find out what the gods are preparing for.
Let's hope it stays that simple. One of Lenos' Venatori associates is often at the Cobbled Swan. Let's see what we can get from him.
We? Dorian, you can't be going yourself.
It's the Swan. Everyone goes to the Swan.
I'll head out right now. We really need to figure out the gods' big plan. Dorian thinks Knight Commander Lenos is part of it. So let's track him down first.
If you're making enemies around here, I don't need your help. You were saying?
How do you keep spite in check?
You've seen me. Poorly. Your own situation is different, isn't it?
It was. I mean, it is, but sometimes it just feels like this is just the beginning. There's something deep down, waiting. Does that make sense?
More than you know.
Here for another visit. Stay safe.
New deals.
And rising fortunes.
All the contracts I didn't evinter, and I never did find out who paid for them.
You think it might have been the Shadow Dragons?
If someone else wanted the Venatori dead enough to hire me, I bet they'd know about it.
We probably shouldn't keep Dorian waiting too long.
Cedar Siconia, back on stage. Where to see her?
There's Dorian. Cedar, how are you?
Better with Aelia out of the picture. She won't cross the threads. Or anyone else again. And I can't say I'm sorry.
Cedar, how was your last show?
No fights and no one abducted in the middle of my set. Call me boring. Call me shallow. But I prefer shows where I'm the center of attention. Rook. You don't cut Venatori slack. I like that.
Sita, what's it like performing in Ducktown?
The best. The worst. It's a job, but I love it.
I get that.
Hey, Cedar. Did your latest show go well?
One of my best.
A pity we missed it.
I've got plans for the future, too. Shake up the set. Write a new number. They'll come down from the circle just to see it. Back to visit Minrathous. I'm sure you'll find your brand of fun if you look hard enough. Scare Venatori for me while you're at it.
There's Lenos's associate. According to the shadows watching him, he's nervous and doesn't talk much, but does odd jobs for coin. Interesting, yes? I'll draw him off, you check his belongings, see if you can discover any clues about Lenos's plan.
The bedroll. It's definitely seen better days. And it's damp. Sleeping out in the rain. Mostly gone. Warm. I don't even know what this is. Ale? Looks like he's been nursing it a while. Half-eaten stale bread, water flask, muddy socks, and this map. Minrathous targets. That doesn't sound good. This all sounds like trouble. Dorian will want to know. Lenos intends to destroy the city with Blight and Darkspawn.
Carthus. Nothing like an attack to cause chaos in a city.
You should head there immediately.
All right, let's go.
They're close.
You feed the gods!
Whatever you say.
Something tore through these gates. Something big. Watch out! I bet this darkspawn was what tore through the gates.
Get ready.
Let's go get him!
On your left!
More blights in the way. That did it. We can get through now.
There's a lot of them.
Everything's crumbling down here. Might be tricky to get out.
There's something about these tunnels that feels wrong. Not like real caves. That did something, but there must be another.
Find the blight boils. We need to clear the way and keep pushing. We got it. Way should be clear.
Shadow dragons? How did you find this place? Predatory! Me! Do you think you've won? Do you think you can stop the Venatori? Or the risen gods?
We're certainly gonna try.
The Shadow Dragons have brought nothing but chaos to the city. Bring these dissidents to justice. That's an order.
That's one less corrupt Templar in Memphis. Let's look around, see what we find.
In Treviso, we have a tale of a masked man who lived in the bowels of the city.
But why?
Drama. Why else?
Lanos' documents. They detail the Venatori's long-term plans and what they want to do to Tevinter. These star charts predict an eclipse to make magic stronger. The Risen God's ritual. That's what the gods in the Venatori are preparing for.
A ritual strengthened by an eclipse. That's what the gods are planning.
All this. The ritual, the eclipse, and the Venatori plans. We have to bring this to the Shadow Dragons immediately.
Let's head back to the Shadow Dragons.
Evil old gods, rituals, waiting for the stars. It's about as Tevinter as blood magic and hubris. Learning about the gods' plans is wonderful, of course. But the lists of magisters you got your hands on. Now there's the real gold.
You've looked at it already. Of course you have.
Information on their backers, the ties to illegal slavery. Don't you see what this means?
This is power, May. Imagine becoming Archon and using this against those who've been hurting the people for years.
You? On the throne? Dorian.
Tell me that wouldn't be a splendid way to bring about real change.
Sounds like someone's got a plan.
Goodness, you make me sound absolutely nefarious. I love it. But yes, if the Venatori can scheme, so could we.
But how would you use this information exactly?
Dorian wants to use it to crush our enemies by whatever means necessary. I prefer to use it to rally the people. I say we make the information known. Allow the people to see the real justice served. Prove that from now on, we work for them.
We tried that already. Or have you forgotten the Lucerni? I no longer trust that political machine will work in our favor. No. We must get at the root of the problem before they can react. A more forceful approach. Destroy them and their networks utterly.
Swords and spies and blackmail? The devious means you learned in the South? If we go outside the system, we invite everyone else to do the same. No, we have to do this in the open. Show the people of Tevinter that we're here for them.
We're Shadow Dragons. It's right there in the name. You supported this because you knew the system didn't work for the people.
The point was to work in the shadows until we could work in the light. And Rook has brought us what we need.
May, the Imperium's politics burned you once and you still...
Enough. We're not the only ones who have a stake in this. Rook, you have been instrumental in all this. Which strategy do you prefer?
Dorian, are you really suggesting violent revolution?
Not necessarily. Sometimes a mere threat of violence is sufficient.
He learned that from his friends in the South. I hear Ferelden settled a succession crisis with a duel.
It worked. Astoundingly.
We're not Ferelden.
I'm merely saying we need to consider bold and creative methods of achieving our ends. The game is rigged. Why play by rules crooked magisters already exploit? Clear the board and start over. If they're gone, we can fill the magisterium with those who respect the office. Then we'll actually see progress.
Nevaris, you really believe making this evidence public will work?
Dorian wants to work behind the scenes, but once again, it's the Magisters and Highbloods pulling the Imperium's strings. That doesn't inspire. It's a tactic used by our enemies. We need to show Tevinter that we can be different.
Unless they find some way to bury it. Or leverage their wealth, power, and status as they often have before?
Politics is a long game. If we use force against our enemies, our allies will remember it.
What sort of change are you trying to achieve?
For a start, slavery. Abhorrent. It needs to go no more.
And Tevinter has been ruled by the Altus mages for all of its history. That must change. The Zoparati, non-mages, deserve a say in their own governance.
And all that's just the beginning of what will undoubtedly be a long journey.
Shouldn't you be on the same side?
We are on the same side. We both know what Tevinter needs. How best to get it, that's the question.
If we went with Dorian's plan, I'd support it fully. But we won't, because he'll come around and realize that I'm right.
And I'd absolutely back you up on that if you were right, which you aren't.
We'll see.
Will we?
You want me to choose who will be Archon? But I'm not even from here. I can't decide.
Then talk to the ones who are. See what they say. Asher and Tarquin, Nev Gallus, they're all a part of this, just as you are. We should all be comfortable with whatever course we take.
All right. I'll go do that.
Grand news about Lenos. One less crooked Templar in town.
He could have done so much with his position.
But he chose his side and got what he deserved.
Lenos made my life miserable. Rana's too.
I hear he started out different. Maybe he once cared about something other than gold. But I didn't know that, Lenos. And I'm not going to mourn the one I did. Still, I'll thank the bastard for writing everything down and delivering it to us all neat.
Dorian and Maevaris still have to decide what to do with everything we got from Lenos.
And they asked for my opinion. Can you believe it?
After all that talk about people needing a voice, I'd be looking at them sideways if they didn't.
I suspect this decision will determine Tevinter's path for years to come.
Then Dorian's way is my choice. He knows you don't stop to talk when you find a hole in the enemy's defenses.
Dorian is a brash rebel.
And Maevaris too much of a romantic.
I think the people will appreciate Maevaris returning as the leader they've always wanted to see.
No. They'll appreciate their lives actually changing for the better.
What do you think might happen, depending on who leads?
With May, she gets power back again. Gets one more shot at changing Tevinter from the top down. Worst that could happen is nothing. But that's what you risk when all you rely on is hope. But with Dorian...
We could get chaos, strife. Things might get harder before they get easier. If they get easier.
I'll take my chances.
And whoever leads will have the Shadow Dragon support, right?
Count on it.
We'll keep fighting. For Dorian. Or for Maevaris.
What else is there to do in this town, anyway? It rains all the damn time.
So, what do you think?
Lenos is gone. We got information about the Venatori's plans, the god's ritual. Would have liked to see his face when he lost, but having him gone is good enough.
I meant about Maevaris and Dorian. We all want change. Who will be more effective in getting it?
Oh, that. You're dragging me into it?
This is your city. Don't you think you should have a say?
Maevaris Talani has been in this game for decades. She's dedicated and ruthless when she needs to be. Dorian Parvis is a wild card. Flashy and inventive, he'll keep his enemies on their toes. Tevinter needs change, and it needs to stop waiting for it. Asking politely won't work. We need someone who knows that, someone not afraid to get their hands dirty. That person is Dorian.
Thanks, Nev. That helps.
That's what I'm here for.
Maker. A full quarter of the Magisterium supporting a cult. Bending the knee to these risen old gods just for a taste of more power. Can they not see they're only tools for the gods? So they can destroy the world?
Demanding intelligence, rationality, and self-awareness from our peers. You ask too much, Mevaris.
Look at me. Such a fool.
Ah, it's Rook. You spoke with the others.
What do you think? Who should be leading the charge from here on?
What happens after it's decided who'll lead?
Well, Lenos is gone, the cult's numbers are down, and they're scrambling to prepare for the god's ritual. They'll be distracted. It's a perfect opportunity to get our preparations in order.
All plans contingent on surviving the current disaster, of course.
Dorian should lead.
Then it is decided. Of course, it only makes sense, but... Ha! Look at me! The sudden pressure.
You won't be alone. All of us are behind you. The Shadow Dragons, the city, her people.
It will take all of them to overcome the risen gods.
You'll find a way to bring them together.
The people know they don't want blight-ridden fiends in their city. They don't need me to tell them. I can, however, show them how to fight. Gods, cults, evil magisters, nothing will stand in our way of forging a new Tevinter.
We won a victory against the Venatori. A good step, but it's not over.
Right. The risen gods are still out there.
We'll be vigilant. Rook.
I must thank you again for everything you've done. Not being overrun with blight. Wonderful. And now we also have hope of changing things for the better.
I did what anyone would have done.
Keeping well?
Those Venatori who quit the cult are staying here until they get back on their feet.
The Venatori losing its grip on people is a good thing.
I know that, and they seem alright, but I'll keep an eye out until I can be sure. You good?
Whatever Dorian has planned for Minrathous will be thrilling, I'm sure. I suppose anything that makes a real impact has to be.
You can be a little excited for the future, you know.
I am. Don't get me wrong. Still, fear and excitement go hand in hand. Rook?
Asher?
Rook stopped the Autumn. Took down their comic maker. He did your job for you. He's a hero.
Just a meddling busybody. Where was Rook when the dragon attacked our city?
I can't believe you're defending them.
I am not defending anyone, Jacobus.
You're letting them be a part of this? My cousin died because the governor didn't stop the Antam from taking over.
Jacobus?
I'm fine. But I'm not going to be a part of this.
Well, now that unpleasantness is dealt with, about your mysterious informant. Whoever they are, they know the Antam and Treviso.
Your message made it sound like this informant also knows where the gods are staging their ritual.
Treviso does not need this troublemaker. This should be left to proper officials.
It very much concerns Rook. We have a contact who offers access to the Butcher and privileged information on the gods.
A chance to find your gods and to free the city. A prize for both our causes.
Both are important. Strong with the crows, strong against the gods.
Someone else seems to think so. The contact knows the city and the Antam.
How do you know it's for real?
They gave us patrol patterns. Dreadnought arrivals. Their information is real.
And you didn't share this with me?
People in this city continue to sicken and die. Do you not have other more pressing matters to attend to?
So where are we meeting?
Near the field hospital, where the market used to be.
And they asked for me, not you or Viago.
Even with what happened to Treviso, your fight against the gods is spoken of by many. You have respect, and no small admiration.
From who, though? That's the question.
What about the human help the Antam was getting? You have any leads on that?
We continue what you started. The other Talons are turning over every stone.
You trust them? Not even your first Talon is safe from your infighting.
We are all Antivan crows.
And yet those of us sworn to Treviso are beneath you.
Hypothetically, what if I'm walking into an ambush?
I would prepare for one.
Not everything is an adder in the wardrobe.
I said to prepare. I didn't say not to go.
There's really no clue who it is.
They're foolish enough to think crows are reliable. That's a clue about their worth.
They promise help.
So do you when you're not killing each other. Treviso deserves better.
It's getting the best.
That has yet to be proven.
I'll talk with this mystery contact.
And the rest of us will hope not to get caught in your crossfire again.
If we can remove the Butcher and weaken the Antam, then perhaps Treviso can start to heal from the Blight. With luck, this informant is our key to that. Find them, Rook. Hear what they have to say. Our informant is near the field hospital, Rook.
They said you'd know them on sight.
Remember, there are injured people there. Don't damage anything.
Unknown contact. This is a trap.
We're fighting gods with the crows. I'm curious who would try to trap us. If our informant actually knows where Elganon and Gillenane are performing their next ritual, it's worth the risk.
You nev the coffee. How does it work?
Huh?
You like it fancy. She likes it made with gutter water filtered through an old sock.
I don't think she likes it that way. That's just how she makes it.
Okay. Iago and Taya said our informant is somewhere in the market. Let's find them. I just hope their supposed information about the god's location is actually true.
Rook, I presume.
The Butcher.
There's no need for that. Treviso is the trap, not this meeting. Please. So tense. I promise, I'll signal when it's time to fight.
Strange way to ambush someone.
I don't have to ambush anyone. You think I couldn't just march on the crows? Scattered Antom flock to me. I have the soldiers to raise your casino and every inch of this city.
But I'll bet there's no profit in actually winning.
There's money being made by the occupation, but not by me. I said Treviso was the trap, and I meant it. The Jewel of Antiva. She sings even while caged. Such purity in every stone. It's trapped my heart. I love this city.
You have a strange way of showing your affection.
I conquered it. I didn't betray it. Not like the cattle born here. You know there are traitors here. They ransom their own city. Literal gods stalk the land, but these filth worship their own purses. But you're different. You and the crows stay true to your roles. It means something when you die, and even more when you kill. You're as much a work of art as this city. And you want a secret from me.
If you really do love this city, you'll tell me where the gods are holding their ritual.
The gods, they give strength. But all they ask in return is everything. I can feel their corruption. I can hear their whispers. They're calling for a ritual. If I give in, I'll know where you need to go. But I will lose my jewel. My city! So... you live in a casino. Let us make a game of this. I will become what the gods want. Welcome their whispers. Meet me and show me if the crows deserve my city.
The Butcher was our contact, and he's bringing himself all to the fight. Finish them off. We need to go after the Butcher. So the Butcher wants us to prove we're worthy of saving Treviso. That's what's happening.
By turning himself into a monster.
Everyone's acting like normal. Like the Butcher hasn't gone nuts.
Who would believe it?
Safer to keep your head down, I guess.
I see what you need. You deserve it.
Hear the shift in his voice? He's changing.
I see. My Treviso. Will not abandon you to the traitors who gave you to me.
There's the Butcher. He's a Reaver and fighting his own Antom.
How are we gonna get information about the gods from that?
We have to hope he's still in there.
I see you, Rook, and I see the ritual. Catch me, find me, win this city!
Butcher! Where is the ritual?
I know ritual! You said it, Joel!
There's nothing left of it.
I see Tearstone Island! The ritual! Tearstone Island!
He's gone. And he named the ritual site Tearstone Island.
At least the Butcher wasn't lying.
He got the death he wanted. Good trade, I guess. And he gave us the information we came for.
Yes, truly the Butcher was a paragon of honor and virtue, and we are all devastated to see him go.
Eventually.
And now you have a location for your final pointless confrontation. The gods are at Tearstone Island. Isn't that what you wanted? A chance to die a hero's death? So go. Leave Treviso to those who deserve it. What's left of it, anyways.
You godless traitor! You weren't powerless against the Butcher, you were working with him!
I don't expect you to understand this, but sometimes governance means not showing your entire hand.
You sold Treviso out to the Antam.
I did what I did to help this city, to save it, to keep my people from being slaughtered like cattle by the Antam. And you let us suffer and sicken in favor of Minrathous. I gave up the crows, you gave up the whole city. Treviso is dying, Rook, and its killer wears your face.
I've met some terrible people lately, even without counting Elganon and Gillenane. You're right up there in some pretty august company. What if Treviso's people could have fought back? Could have rallied to the city's defense? But the Antam kept them weak, let them die. That happened because of a choice you made. I live with the consequences of my decisions. Can you say the same?
You live with nothing, Rook. You have the luxury of distraction, of defining all your actions by the greater good. So take your team to Tearstone Island. Face Elganon and Gillenane, strike them down. Or don't. Either way, Treviso is dying. But it's still mine. Leave its funerary rites to one who cared enough about this city to make themselves its villain.
It makes sense now. Every decision they made shows it.
The governor betrayed us all. And for what? A city that is sick, and whose recovery will be measured in years.
I take it you heard? The Butcher's dead.
And in his place is the traitor we knew was lurking. And the Antam fell in line?
Whatever the Antam are looking for, Eventually's giving it to them.
The Blight changes things. Even the Antam fear it. The governor has given them a clear purpose. They were more cunning than I thought.
The lectures, the insults, eventually made sure all we saw was a hopped-up bureaucrat who was jealous that Treviso loves the crows. If someone told me eventually was in charge of the Antam, I wouldn't have believed it. And yet...
Yes, but you have forced them into the open.
The hand that leashed Treviso. The Butcher was the mouth, but the hand was Evenchi all along. They think they have the power in the Antam, and a network doing their will.
But we have the face of our enemy.
Evenchi will be hiding, so we will hound their Antam and make them desperate.
When the governors show themselves again, we end this.
Eventually keeps talking about restoring order and rebuilding Treviso. But what then?
I believe the good governor's plan was to risk the city to try and claim the nation. If the Antam beheaded the crows, who would merchant princes hire? Who would invaders fear?
As if the Antam would fill that role. This was a bookkeeper's angry grab at power.
When Avenchi left, they made it sound like they were planning something.
I suspect it will be about restoring order as they see it, and that the Crows will be first on their list.
Whatever the good governor's intent, we'll end it.
You're not concerned the gods will send the Antam more support?
The gods might come for us, but they're coming for everyone. I believe you are crafting the answer to that, and we will help as we can.
We'll stop Avenchi.
The gods. Did you learn where they will be?
Tearstone Island. Avenchi confirmed it before they left.
We know the time to face Elgar'nan and Gillenane approaches, but it will not take us long to find Avenchi.
If you truly want to help Treviso recover from the Blight, help us deal with the governor.
We'll let you know when we'll make our move. And after that, Treviso will be free.
How did no one see Avenchi's betrayal coming?
Perhaps they did. There's a difference between knowing and being willing to stand.
They were someone else's problem, and the city paid the price.
Tell us if you find Jacobus, Rook.
He blames Avenchi for his family's death. I worry he may try something rash.
There must be fewer Antam now.
It's their nature to step into roles, fill gaps. Avenchi is taking advantage.
Let them. When this is done, that name will only be spat.
Please, not another. The floors of the Diamond suffer enough.
I hope the Butcher's death didn't go unnoticed.
Avenchi may still have control, but the veneer of occupation has splintered.
Viago means people are no longer as afraid. His poems are more welcome during our gentler pursuits.
I do not recall any gentle pursuits.
All this blight. What do these gods want with it, Rook?
The gods think Blight can somehow rebuild what they lost.
Ah, so they are mad. These are hard times.
We can pull the city through.
Our plans must be immaculate.
That is why they go through you. Good luck out there, Rook.
Treviso can be free if we work hard enough.
It worked. The Crows have harried the Antam, and Avenchi is revealed. But I did not think this is what they planned.
It is bold, and it will doom us all. Rook, good. We have discovered what Avenchi is planning for Treviso. When you fought the Kamek Master in the garrison, you mentioned a note you found that said some Kamek had gone missing.
We have discovered who stole it.
Avenchi.
The governor intends to release it all around the city to pacify violent seditionists.
They called us reckless, and now... Now Avenchi will ruin the minds of thousands in this city to have their peace and order.
Who is Avenchi planning to poison with the Kamek? Aside from the Crows.
People who have spoken up too loudly against the Antam.
Anyone too friendly with the Crows. I doubt Avenchi is familiar with poisons. I guarantee the Kamek will spread to the rest of the city as well.
We know about it, and we'll stop it.
After the dragon attack, and then the blight, the governor is a coward who has given up on Treviso.
Better to poison the last of it themselves than let anyone else solve these things.
It is finally time to strike. Go to the garrison and prevent Ivenchi from releasing the Kamek.
Once you are there, Thea and I will lead the crows against the rest of Ivenchi's forces in the city.
Understood.
There is something else. Jacobus stormed off earlier. He did not look well.
Look out for him, would you?
Of course. We'll head to the garrison.
Do you think Ivenchi would target the field hospital?
I would not put anything past them now.
I heard the butcher was wearing a crow dagger.
There's the garrison. Onto the garrison and the governor.
What were we talking about? Your reputation's earned. You're deadly with that bow. There have been many times I could have used you as my eyes.
Huh. Thanks.
You know, if you're ever interested in making a little coin...
What?
The crows pay well for people with your skills.
The courtyard looks empty.
Thought we'd see Antam. Where are the guards?
Ivenchi must be... We clear the garrison this time. Ivenchi's got to know there's no way out for a traitor.
Impressive, Rook! The garrison has fallen to darkspawn!
That explains why Ivenchi's Anton were trying to run. Thanks, Lucanus. Jacobus? Okay, now for Ivenchi.
I will see you dead if it's the last thing I do before the blight takes me!
I don't like this. Air seems wrong.
Wait, and these aren't unreal.
I see the comic is working! want. It won't end any differently. Why don't you die? Why don't you give up?
Nicely done, Rook.
If that damned dark spawn at the gates hadn't scratched me, blighted me, if you hadn't interfered,
it wouldn't have made a difference.
neither will my death. My comic could have helped stabilize the city, but it's still blighted, dying. Nothing can save Treviso now.
Maybe Treviso will survive. Maybe not. You've lost the right to know.
You must be so proud. Leaving this city in the grip of murderers.
You say you did all this for Treviso, Avenchi. To protect it. But you never really believed in it.
What would you know about the city I love?
The Antam have not given...
If Rook hadn't stopped the governor in time.
None of that. It is time to celebrate a victory.
Rook! I should have wine. We should toast you.
Evenchi is dead. The comic is being disposed of. All thanks to you.
The garrison's a mess.
Details.
The Antam remain, though with Evenchi gone, I think we will be able to persuade them to move on in the coming months.
People are being moved to safer areas outside the Blight. Crows have time now to patrol for Darkspawn.
It will take years, but we can plan for Treviso's future now that it has one.
Treviso would have fallen long ago if it really didn't have a chance.
I'm not so sure. A city is only as healthy as those who care for it.
You never gave up, Rook. We will repay that in full. But life is so dull if all we talk about are responsibilities. It is time to celebrate.
For our victory.
For Treviso's freedom.
For the crows.
What an excellent idea. Viago, dear, you mentioned something about getting us drinks?
I think we've done what we can for Treviso. We've shown everyone you can stand against the Antam and the Blight.